運が悪かったんだよ、お前らは。
We're gonna do the one that has less substance to it first. And it's gonna be the pocket circuit. So, I mentioned before how Yakuza Kiwami is a game that is both functioning as a sequel to both functioning as a remake to Yakuza 1 from the PlayStation 2 and as a sequel to Yakuza 0. They made Yakuza 0 and then they decided, hey, using the same engine and mechanics and like system that we made up for Yakuza 0, let's remake Yakuza 1. And that naturally seems like a no-brainer. That seems like a very logical, natural decision to make. It makes so much sense, right? That NPC is like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I think, okay, so when it comes to the Yakuza games, they're pretty legendary for their asset reuse. For the way they, like, the next game comes out and they will reuse 90% of what they made for the game that preceded it. So if you play Yakuza 4, there is, like, 90% reusing stuff from Yakuza 3. And there will be new stuff. They will put in new stuff. Like, they're not slouching. And there is a certain, like it's a pragmatic decision, but it's also something that's very admirable, that they reuse so many assets. Like, that's just smart. That's recycling. You're taking something you already had, and you're recycling it to use it again. The problem is, with that, is when they reuse assets, I don't know what it is. But there's almost like this feeling that, well, it was in the last game, we can't not use it again. I mean, it's right there. We have to use it. But you don't, though. You don't have to use it. You don't have to reuse those assets. There's nothing forcing you to reuse those assets. Why would you do this? It's like the opposite problem that Pokemon has. You know how in Pokemon, like, they'll just drop shit in between generations? Like, contests, fuck you. Mega Evolutions, eat shit. We came up with a new thing now. But with Yakuza, they'll come up with something for a game, and then, like, okay, time to shoehorn that into the new one, even though it's completely inappropriate, because we can just reuse it. It was there, we had it, so let's just shove it back in. Why not? You know, it's not necessarily why not. The question is, why? Why do this? And Pocket Circuit is the biggest example of why did you do this. Because Pocket Circuit was a minigame that was in Yakuza 0, and it made sense in context of Yakuza 0, and it was really fun and great in Yakuza 0. And so they made Yakuza Kiwami, and they're like, okay, it's a remake of Yakuza 1, and we're pretty much just it's like a mod. It feels like a fan-made mod, Yakuza Kiwami does. Where they literally just took Yakuza 0 and, like, modified it to function as a remake of Yakuza 1. It's something that, like, a fan would be able to do. You wouldn't even have to make that, like, they didn't make new shit. They just altered character models that already existed. And just reused the same mechanics. Almost nothing new was added into this game. It's even the Majima Everywhere system. Even the Majima Everywhere system is not a unique new thing that they added for Yakuza Kiwami. It's really just taking... It's really just taking a mechanic from Yakuza 0, which we'll get to when we get to that, and reskinning it to be about Majima. It's taking the Mr. Shakedown system of Yakuza 0 and having it, now it's Majima, and you're fighting Majima now, and it's even like using the same... It's a way to take, like, Majima's function in Yakuza 0 and then reusing that. So that, I guess they just feel like, oh, well, we don't want to be wasteful. We don't want to not include this stuff. But, like, no, you don't have to have the Pocket Fighter in here. Even a fan-made mod would not do this. Let's say Yakuza Kiwami was a fan-made remake using Yakuza 0's... the game Yakuza 0 as a base. Like, Yakuza 0 got released, you go on the Steam Workshop, and you see Yakuza Kiwami. Oh, it's a remake of Yakuza 1, but using the 0 engine. How great. That fan-made mod would not have the Pocket Circuit in there. It would not. Because they would know, well, that's dumb. Why would you do that? Why would you have that in the game? But for some reason, they went, oh, well, we had it in Yakuza 0, so we gotta reuse it for Yakuza Kiwami. And it just feels like stupid. Don't have it. Don't have it in here. It's so lazily included. It's just in the same place as it was in Yakuza 0. It works the same way. It doesn't add anything of value. It's just taking something that was in Yakuza 0 and, oh, well, might as well keep it for Yakuza Kiwami. The game's not worse for having it in here, but it doesn't benefit from having it in here. So it seems really dumb to have it in here. And Yakuza, I'm sorry, Majima Everywhere, that Majima... Why am I still letting this go? Jesus Christ. So we'll just... Why am I still letting this play out, for fuck's sake? First of all, I already did all this shit. The first time. Oh my god. Stop. I don't care. No. Fucker! Even the Majima Everywhere system doesn't feel like they included it in this game as an original idea of, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we gave Majima this, like, more substantial role in Yakuza Kiwami. It felt like, well, we have these mechanics for how the Mr. Shakedown system worked from Yakuza 0. How are we gonna find... How are we going to justify having... like, how can we reuse the Mr. Shakedown system? It felt like the motivation started as we need to figure out how we can justify including the Mr. Shakedown system mechanics in Yakuza Kiwami. And they decided, oh, well, having it be Majima, that's a good way to include those. But no one raised their hand and went, why don't we just not have that? Why do we need to include... No one rose their hand and went, why do we need to include the pocket... Why do we need to include the Mr. Shakedown system? Well, because Yakuza 0 had it. Okay, but, like, why do we need to include it, though? Why can't we just not have that? It feels like the kind of thing, like, again, if you're making a mod, and you're like, well, I don't know how to remove it. So it has to be in there. So it's just gonna stay there. It's gonna remain included, because... I swear, I had, like, a visual guide for this at some point, and I do not remember. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have it playing in the background. I'm not really gonna be paying attention to this. Well, I don't... Well, like, if you're a fan mod and you're making this, like, well, I don't know how to take it out of there. I can't figure out how to get rid of it. So, we need to... I need to find out some different way to contextualize these mechanics so that it doesn't feel out of place. It's gonna be in there because it was in Yakuza 0, and I don't know how to get rid of it, so however I can have it in there so it's not super jarring and it still fits with the content of Yakuza 1, I just need to come up with a way to retexture it, and there we go. Now it doesn't feel out of place. But this is an official game. The developers could have decided to just not have it. They were under no obligation to maintain its inclusion. They could have just cut it. I don't understand. I really don't get it. It was like the guy who made the system, like, in the room being like, okay, so, like, I spent a lot of time making the Pocket Fighter, the Pocket Circuit minigame, so that's gonna be in Kiwami, right? And they were like, well, no, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. Why the hell would it be in Kiwami? But I worked really hard. I worked really hard on making the Pocket Circuit. Why wouldn't it be in there? I mean, it doesn't really fit. And I mean, this is a remake of Yakuza 1. So, like, and it wasn't in Yakuza 1, so why would it be in Yakuza Kiwami? But you guys don't like the minigame that I made for the Pocket Circuit? Why don't you want it in the game? And they're like, Tony's making it awkward. I guess we have to put Pocket Circuit in the fucking game now. Because otherwise Tony's gonna complain that we didn't appreciate his dumbass Pocket Circuit minigame. Is that what it was? I don't get it. Just don't have it, my dudes. I don't like it. I don't like that it's in here. But it's associated with a sub-story, and you gotta do all the sub-stories to get the secret boss, so you have to go to the Pocket Circuit. It's not optional if you want to fight the secret boss. I don't like it. It really it shouldn't be in the game.
No.
This is definitely the most blatant of the examples of Yakuza Kiwami as sequel to Yakuza 0. Because it's literally... Here's the weird and dumb thing, though, is I don't think this is canon. Because there's content in Yakuza 6 that contradicts this sub-story. So I don't think that the Pocket Circuit shit being in Yakuza Kiwami is even canon to the rest of the series. That's the weirdest fucking thing about it. I don't... Fuck. God damn it. I don't care. It shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be in the game. They should have cut it. This is a remake of Yakuza 1. Why did you do this?
Cool. Yeah.
Ma.
Nani?
I'm looking up a guide so that I can just sleepwalk through this. I don't even want to get into what's involved with the Pocket Racer minigame right now because that's for Yakuza 0. It shouldn't be in this. There's nothing wrong with adding stuff that wasn't in the original game, but it's about how you add it and why. And the way this is added is bad, and the reason is bad. What even was the reason? Oh, well, because it was in Yakuza 0, so we had to reuse it. No, you didn't, though. God fucking damn the internet. I hate smartphones so much. Super soft. Yep. Overframe plus. Yep. Godspeed. Super boost gears. Yep. Regular. Yep. Heavy suspension. Yep. How is this over the budget? This is what the guide says to have. Weird. I'll just use something else then. There. I don't even think I have to win this anyway. Thankfully, this is really short. It's really just this one race. The other minigame we're gonna be getting to is a lot fucking longer. You literally... man, that's so funny. Blah, blah, blah. None of this means anything and has no value or relevance if you didn't play Yakuza 0. And even if you did play Yakuza 0, it still seems really dumb. It's just reiterating the same thing that was in Yakuza 0 that you already got the full, like, appreciation of when playing Yakuza 0. So even if you're going off of just in terms of, you know, its value, quote-unquote, as a sequel to Yakuza 0, to content that was in Yakuza 0, it still feels like a waste. It still feels like, no, you shouldn't have done this. Because someone who played Yakuza 0 is not going to be like, oh, yay, more Pocket Fighter to play in Yakuza Kiwami. Are they? I don't think they would. Maybe that's just me being optimistic. Especially when it's just a carbon copy. It's just straight up the exact same pocket circuit as what was in... Oh, okay, this is what the guide was for. As what was already in Yakuza 0. So it just feels so confused to me.
Huh?
Like, I guess, theoretically, it's fan service for if you really liked the Pocket Circuit, because it's taking those characters and being like, hey, look, here's the characters from Pocket Circuit. I don't know. Was it designed as, like, they knew that people would have played Yakuza 0 as their original, as their first Yakuza, Ryuga Gotoku game? And they knew that, like, Yakuza Kiwami... No, it doesn't feel like that, though. I mean, like, maybe it was like, nuanced, but Yakuza Kiwami really feels like kind of a filler entry. To be like, this would be a really low-effort release to pump out reusing the same game, just taking the game that Yakuza 0 was, and, like, redoing it to be Yakuza 1. And, like, it feels like a really easy thing that probably didn't take a lot of production time or resources while they were busy making the Dragon Engine, really is what it was, for, like, the next mainline entry in the series. So, like, the idea that maybe it was nuanced enough they were like, well, while we're doing that, we also might as well take advantage of this opportunity to have Yakuza Kiwami function as, like, the next game that people who started with Yakuza 0 are going to play. I don't know, it just, I wouldn't, if it was up to me, I would be like, no, don't do this. Don't do this thing. Don't have Pocket Fighter. Majima Everywhere is not a bad idea. It's the way it's implemented that I have problems with. Which is that it's just so obscene after a while. Like, the way... Okay, so... if you're looking at it in terms of... But I don't think a lot of people realize that, because Majima Everywhere really is just taking the Mr. Shakedown system from Yakuza 0 and reskinning it to be Majima, where you have to fight this unique enemy throughout the city, and he'll randomly spawn as you're running around. What am I doing? This is what happens when you don't pay attention. What do I need? Golem Fighter. Super Soft, Super Rubber. I need a different engine. I need High Torque Motor. And bump plate. I mean, this is what I don't even like the Pocket Circuit minigame, because that's all it is. It's just look up a guide to figure out what parts you need in order to win the race. And you literally have no input or chance of succeeding without following that guide. Only Majima Everywhere is actively worse than the Mr. Shakedown system. Shit, no! Wow. Nah, shit. Is actively worse than the Mr. Shakedown system because instead of just wandering around the map, I wasn't confident in the guide. I should have just left it alone. Instead of just wandering around the map as a random enemy encounter, he also has different spawn locations and can challenge you to minigames, and like, he'll just jump out of literally nowhere and surprise you. And stuff like that. And after a while, it just gets really annoying. Like, you can't avoid it. It's just like a boss fight with Majima that you have to fight repeatedly over and over throughout the game in a way where it's forced upon you, and you can't really avoid it even if you want to, and even if there's no value or benefit to you, like, fighting him. At that point in the game. And it devalues the actual encounters you have with him as as part of the actual story. So this guide was full of shit! As part of the actual story of the game. And again, it feels like you didn't have to have the Mr. Shakedown system. It's fine. You can just not have that in the game. You didn't need to contrive a way to use Majima in order to, like, make the Mr. Shakedown system work using Majima as the catalyst for it in Yakuza Kiwami. You could have just not done it. That's my point. Instead of thinking about, like, well, how can we justify it? Oh, let's use Majima. You could have just not. You could have just not done it. You didn't have to do it, though. It would have been fine. No one would have cared. No one would have been like, oh, but where's the Majima? No one would have missed it. If you removed it from the game wholesale, no one would miss it. The game is not lacking in any way for its absence. And the Pocket Racer really is, like, the best example of, like, well, why did you put it in the game, though? You could have just not. You could have just not, though. You didn't have to come up with an excuse for how and why it would have made sense to include it. You could have just not done it. It would have been fine. It would have been fine if you didn't put it in. Don't do this. Don't do this very thing you've done. You're bad. You're bad for doing this. No. I don't think this guide is right. Oh, I'm reading it wrong is what I'm fucking doing. Am I? I have no... Fuck this. I don't care. I don't think this guide I'm using is accurate. I'm just gonna use the one that has the most points. Okay, so that was wrong of me. Don't you love how you have to win in order to finish the sub-story? Which is actually kind of a rarity in sub-stories where you have to do a minigame. And instead of using a minigame and attaching a sub-story to it that was actually in the original game, let's take the one from fucking Zero. That's fine. Do that. Some soft tires. Rubber frame plus. Godspeed motor. Super boost gears. Okay, let's see if that'll work. This guide seems like it's full of shit! This guide might be full of shit. But let's see how it goes. Yeah, so this is the big opportunity for a rant about the Majima Everywhere system, cause it's the same. The reason the Majima Everywhere system is questionable is the reason that the Pocket Fighter, the Pocket Circuit, is a not positive inclusion to the game. It's just taking something that was in Yakuza 0 and reskinning it to be used in the same context to the same capacity, even though it isn't appropriate. Only at least with Majima Everywhere, they added a bunch on to how it works and added like uniqueness to it so that it makes sense for it being Majima instead of the Mr. Shakedown. But with Pocket Circuit, it's literally just cut it out of Yakuza 0 and put it into this Yakuza 1 remake. And it's just so much worse in how it's implemented. At least with Majima Everywhere, they put more effort into being slightly more creative with its implementation. Even though after a while, it really starts to get on my fucking nerves in how you just get You fight Majima, like, more than any other enemy in the game now because of it. You fight Majima more than regular, no-name enemies, like random battles with regular dudes. You fight Majima the most, and it really gets annoying. Like, Majima's great and all, but I'll talk more about why Majima is great when it's actually appropriate as part of the story. So that was the Pocket Racer. The last minigame, well, like, yeah, actual minigame that we're gonna do is a little bit better, but it still has kind of the same problem. I think it's slightly less annoying and slightly more justified in that it actually does kind of fit in a lot better as something to add into a remake of Yakuza 1. It's still not great. It still has the same issue that the Pocket Racer does, though.